Hello, my name is Zach Sandel. This is my capstone research project discussing what the Vikings ate prior to 1350. Around the year 1350, the diet in Scandinavia was largely a continuation of earlier Viking Age food practices, focusing on locally available seasonal foods. The Vikings Age ate hearty and self sufficient, centered around farming, fishing, and food preservation methods. Their key dietary components were grains, barley, rye, and oats were the most common grains used to make dense, coarse breads, often flatbreads, and porridges, which were a dietary staple. Wheat was considered a luxury and typically reserved for the wealthy or special occasions. They ate dairy products. Dairy was a primary source of protein and fat. Scandinavians consumed large amounts of milk, mostly from goats and cows, butter, and various cheeses, including yogurt like product called skyr. Whey, a byproduct of cheese making, was drunk and also used as a preservative due to its acidity. They ate meat and fish. Fish was primary protein source, eaten frequently, dried, salted, smoked, or fresh. Commonly, the fish included herring, cod, salmon, and trout meat, such as pork, mutton, and beef was often a seasonal food for most people, with animals typically slaughtered them in the autumn to avoid feeding them over the winter. Preserving meat through drying, smoking, and salting was essential for winter consumption. Vegetables and fruits, a variety of garden vegetables and foraged wild plants were consumed. Common options include cabbage, onions, leeks, turnips, parsnips, peas, and beans. Food was largely prepared in stews known as scouse, boiled in cauldrons over an open fire, which made tough meats tender and ensured safe consumption. Bread was often cooked on a flat stone or iron griddle. The diet was highly seasonal and ample fresh food in summer and autumn, and reliance on preserved foods during the harsh Scandinavian winters. The diet varied heavily with the region. In coastal places, saltwater fish, shellfish, seafowl, beef, and seafowl eggs were common, while grain, peas, cabbages, and fresh fish was more common inland. Vikings, according to legend, seem to have eaten 2 meals per day, perhaps with lighter snacks in between. Meals were usually served warm or hot, as it's hard to keep an even indoor temperature. Boiling was considered the finest way to prepare a meal, and a cauldron would be a very prized possession. Many people without access to cauldrons seem to have used clay pots with cooking rocks heated in a fire, then placed in a pot to boil food. Uh, The Viking diet wasn't just about eating to survive, it was about fueling warriors, celebrating victories, and strengthening the bonds of brotherhood. From roasted meats to barrels of mead, every meal was an experience of tradition, strength, and adventure. In this video, I'm using ingredients that Vikings would have used in a stew. I used beef, carrots. I learned that carrots were not orange in this time period, so I bought purple and white ones. Also, onions, garlic, thyme, bay leaves, barley to thicken up the stew, and served with rye bread. They would have cooked this meal using a cauldron over an open fire, and the bread would have been on a flat stone or griddle. I used modern amenities to cook this Viking era inspired meal and bought all organic and farm raised beef. The Vikings probably could not have afforded this meal, but it was a fun project and ended with an awesome stew.